I'll let you take over from here. We're live.
All right. Good evening, everybody. This is MemphisWeather.net meteorologist Eric Procius, and we are trying a live stream out tonight, hoping that some of you will join us. We have not had any weather to talk about from a precipitation perspective for a couple of weeks now, and we are transitioning once again from a fall pattern for a couple of days this week. We had a little bit of summer back today, and that has brought us some heat and humidity and some unstable air in the area. And there's another cold front coming through as we head into tomorrow morning. And so we've got some storms around the area, and we're going to go right to the radar here and take a look at what's going on in the area. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning out right now. This severe thunderstorm warning does go until 9:15 p.m. for southern part of Tipton County and the northern part of Shelby County. I have some thunder rumbling outside my windows right now here from storms that are just to our south, actually over the middle of the city. But those are not the thunderstorms that have prompted the severe thunderstorm warning. They're actually a little cluster of cells that's moving into western Tipton County now and is moving southeast or east-southeast. Right along the Tipton and Shelby County line up into western Tipton County, getting ready to move right over the US 51 corridor from Millington up to Atoka. Storms are right now over Gilt Edge to the west of Atoka and then back to the Shelby Forest area. Moving to the east-southeast, a pretty good clip, around 40 or 50 miles an hour, and those will be moving across a good part of Tipton County over the next 45 minutes or so, and the northern parts of Shelby County, and so we're going to talk about that here for just a minute, and we'll also touch on the storms that are down over the city of Memphis as well, although that's mostly heavy rain right now, and maybe a little pea-sized hail, but nothing severe right there right now. But we'll zoom in, and I want to actually take a little bit of a loop here, so I'll go back a little bit far in time, but watch as these storms move in from the west, and you can see that cluster of cells just kind of developed pretty quickly as it got over southern Mississippi County, far northeastern Crittenden County, and then moving into Tipton and northern Shelby. So as that gets to that last frame here, we'll pause that and take a little bit deeper look at this storm. And what I've got here on the two-panel display is the reflectivity, or just the precipitation coming out of the storms on the left side, and on the right side is our hail indicator, and so we'll be looking for the potential for some small hail out of this as well. But these the strongest part of these storms right now is right around the Gilt Edge area, moving toward Burleson and Garland, and east towards Brighton, and that stretches down through Drummonds and towards Cuba, which is west of the Millington area. So right along the western part of Tipton County, and just about to move into the Millington area. If we look a little bit further down the path of this storm as it continues to move to the east, Brighton, Atoka, Rosemark, Millington, all of these areas are going to be in the path of this storm over the next 15 or 20 minutes or so as it moves a fairly good clip off to the east. And it does look like from our hail indications over here on the right side that the best potential for any hail is going to be from about Gilt Edge up to the north to about the Mississippi County, Tipton County line there along the Mississippi River. The area that's actually within the warning does not show a lot in terms of hail, so that's good. I do want to take a look also over at the radar data, the velocity data. This is the wind pattern coming out of the storm as well, and right now it doesn't appear to have very significant winds. I guess there is some fairly strong winds inbound to the radar. So the radar is here in Millington, and so these winds are moving to the southeast in this storm, and looks like they're running around maybe at most about 30, 35 miles an hour or so. There could be some 40-mile-an-hour winds in there. Those are, since it's really close to the radar, these winds are actually being sampled very, very close to the ground as well. So what we're looking at is a pretty good idea of what might be in these storms at the surface as it moves across these areas. So there in the Millington area, the storm is now moving into the city of Millington. And we're going to stop seeing some of that radar data as it moves into Millington, actually, because the radar is right there, and it just simply can't look straight up. So we've got a little bit of a hole over Millington. But 30 to 40 mile an hour winds possible there in Millington. And then it looks like further to the north, very, very heavy rain is the main threat, and maybe a little bit of hail. So I know that we've got some folks that have outdoor activities up in the northeastern part of the county tonight. There's a high school band competition that's wrapping up in Arlington tonight. And fortunately, it looks like this is going to hold off there for another 20 or 30 minutes, and hopefully they're wrapping up and getting folks back to their cars safely this evening before this hits. But this is coming your direction. I'll take just a minute to move down and look over the other storms that are from roughly the eastern part of Memphis, East Memphis, out over towards the Cordova area, kind of moving into the northern part of Germantown. So we're looking at this is Poplar, basically right along, right cutting through Germantown there, and then we've got Sanga Road and Germantown Parkway, those areas out there where the storms are moving into the Cordova area. It's actually Walnut Grove as well. So right over Walnut Grove, raining pretty heavily. These have created a little bit of an outflow. So we've got some pretty decent little winds coming out of that storm. Again, maybe 30 miles an hour or so, moving into the Cordova area in East Memphis, heading down towards Germantown. And then heading out the Poplar Corridor, and those will be moving in towards the Collierville area here over the next 30 minutes or so. Expect those storms will also be moving down to Grays Creek, Briarcrest, Spring Creek, some of those areas in far eastern Shelby County here over the next 30 minutes or so as well. Those are not warned, though. They're not severe right now, just thunder and lightning and a little bit of wind out of those. It does look like, since this warning has been issued, that these storms have, over Tipton County and northern Shelby County, have maybe quieted down just a little bit. Certainly the radar signature back, this was back about 20 minutes ago or so, had some very strong winds, 50 to 55 mile an hour winds in it. That has diminished significantly now as it's moved into Millington. So would not be surprised for that warning to be canceled a little bit early. I'm not positive that it will, but it does look like the radar indications of strong storms in there, at least from a wind and hail perspective, have diminished a fairly good amount since that storm was first warned. And looks like that hail is dropping off there some too as it moves towards the Highway 51 corridor. So that's what's going on right now. I'm going to hand this over to Richard for just a minute. It's time for me to get a tweet out and a Facebook post out for all of our followers out there. Appreciate it if you're following along there. We'll continue to provide updates there, as well as here on the YouTube stream as well. So warning is still in effect for a little bit longer, and I'll hand it over to Richard here for a minute.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. We're looking at satellite right now. We do see these storms popping up all the way from basically the Boot Heel of Missouri down through western Tennessee and into northwest Mississippi, and all this activity is moving to the west. Again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southern Shelby County, as well as southern Tipton County, rather, as well as northern Shelby County, in effect until 9:15. You can see the crawl down there on the bottom of your screen. If you have comments, we can take them right here on YouTube. Just pull them in, or rather, you can comment in the YouTube app, wherever you're watching there on YouTube, and we can pull those in. I do see some comments about crazy lightning strikes out there, so Anti-Spiral saying it's pretty massive lightning out there, so definitely you want to stay indoors, as this is definitely there's thunder in the area, and when thunder roars, go indoors, as they always say. But we do have, you can see all of this activity is moving to the east. We do have the one cell right over southern Tipton County as well as northern Shelby County. Let me zoom in here just a little bit, and you can see all the lightning associated with that. That is, again, pushing to the east. Let's see, this is pushing to the east at it is pushing to the east, and it opened up over here. Still live stream, so live production, so there will be a little bit of delay here. Moving east at 50 miles per hour. That is scooting through the metro here. That is a good thing, though. It'll be out pretty quick. We do see on satellite, though, that the cells are. I'm looking at the satellite here on my second screen. Yeah, these cells are rapidly intensifying as they move across the metro, And the cell that's over central Shelby County right now, moving to the east, basically over the Germantown, Cordova areas, those cells are producing more and more lightning. So not as strong as the cell that is over northern Shelby County as well as southern Tipton County, but the cell here just around eastern, moving into east central Shelby County does have lightning with it, so be aware of that moving in. I'm going to switch screens real quick. We'll take a look at the loop here. So we can see the severe thunderstorm warning continues. National Weather Service has trimmed it just a little bit. Let's see, this is, they've canceled portions for Crittenden County and continues this for parts of eastern Mississippi County, Arkansas, as well as Shelby County and Tipton County, again until 9:15, expecting 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and 3/4 inch hail with any of these cells that move through. You can kind of see the track of this as it moves east through the metro. It is headed towards Highway 51 and all the way down. Let's see if I can stop this at the end. So you can see all the way from Covington and down through Brighton, Atoka, Millington, getting some moderate to heavy rain right now, right along Highway 51. But the cell that is just over, let's see, Germantown, Cordova area, that continues to move east. There is some lightning with that, possibly some small hail with any of that. Again, if you have comments, questions, or anything, post them here on YouTube, and we can answer those live as they come in. So don't be afraid to comment there on YouTube, and we will try our best to answer any questions you've got. We do have Amber, I see, had some destructive winds came down their street. So that is definitely something to watch out for. Those trash cans may get displaced.
Richard, I was just checking in with the Weather Service on these, and they agreed with what we were saying just a little bit ago, that those storms in Tipton County look to be losing some of their steam. They're going to let that warning expire at 9:15, and it looks like most of the severe weather that would have been occurring in that is probably already diminished. So it's just some gusty winds in those. But they're going to let that warning expire and then continue to monitor that in case they need to put out a special weather statement. But right now, they're really not seeing anything of severe nature. But like you said, to be enough wind gusts out there to blow around any of those election signs maybe you got in your front yard, or you've got trampolines, they'll probably be okay. But some of the lighter stuff, your garden flags and so forth, will be whipping around pretty good, I think. So hopefully nothing damaging. And again, the hail doesn't look to be a real significant threat at this point either. So
looks like, looking at our modeling software, we are looking to see this continue to move into Fayette County as well as Haywood County over the next probably 30, 45 minutes or so. And this will continue pushing east. So it'll be through here pretty quick and move over towards the Oakland and Somerville area probably in the next 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, and pretty much be out of the Shelby County, Tipton County area within, I would say, probably 30, 45 minutes.
So we are seeing a special weather statement just issued. That will be popping up here on the radar here in just a few minutes. It's going to be for eastern Tipton County, northeastern Shelby County, northwestern Fayette County, and over to Lauderdale as well. That's going to go to 9:45. And they're indicating the possibility of half-inch hail and maybe winds up to 50 miles an hour or so. I did just see a report from the Agri Center of 48-mile-an-hour wind gusts on a personal weather station there. So,
and I just switched the radar over to your radar, so you're live there.
Okay, great. And I don't have that special weather statement showing up here yet, but it is going to be just downstream, basically, of this warning that's going to expire. The yellow box, there it is, just popped in. So that white box is actually what we should be paying attention to now. That is the new special weather statement. The warning is going to expire here in 5 minutes, but just downstream of these storms, again, the possibility for 50 to 55 mile an hour winds and half-inch hail. This is radar indicated. They haven't had any severe weather reports out of this, although that personal weather station report that just came into us of 48 miles an hour at the Agri Center, which is where the Weather Service is. So they are probably experiencing something very similar to what they're describing here. So, and that's actually out of the, should mention that, that's actually out of this other storm down in the Cordova area that we can zoom into here. Wouldn't be surprised if this has got a little bit of a hail signature in it as well, maybe up to half-inch hail there, and probably some gusty winds on the radar because we are getting reports of some gusty winds there. So wouldn't be surprised if a special weather statement actually comes out for that one as well. So folks that are in the Cordova area, you are getting a downpour right now. Very strong wind or gusty wind coming out of that, moving into the Briarcrest area, and that is spreading east towards Spring Creek, north side of Germantown. So basically the southern edge of this storm is right along Poplar, moving towards Collierville. The precipitation really almost cuts off right at Poplar, but the gusty winds are out ahead of that storm now. And we can see on the radar signature on the right, the kind of the leading edge of these red color is out into the Collierville area and down, stretches west back towards Hickory Hill, Capelville area. And there is no rain down there, but that is where the outflow is located. So the winds that are, the coolish winds that are coming out of those storms dropped down from those storms over Cordova and down into Germantown and pushed out ahead of the storm. So those cool winds are spreading out ahead of the precipitation down there.
So we did have a question come in on chat and comments from Carrie Russ saying Gilt Edge had crazy wind as the leading edge came through. So in Gilt Edge, so that is they're in Tipton County.
Yep.
And wants to know how far away is the cold front?
The cold front is probably about 12 to 14 hours away, actually. We're looking for that to not actually move through the Memphis area until late Sunday morning. This is actually out well ahead of the front. It's way up to the north, moving through Missouri. It'll be a good one, though. It is going to bring us some very nice fall weather for all of next week once we can kind of get through this. But this is out ahead of the cold front. There's kind of a warm front actually that's sitting down basically kind of right over the Memphis area. There's some pretty good storms down to the south in North Mississippi back into southeastern Arkansas, and those are on the warm side of that warm front that kind of stretches across the metro. And then the north side of this, I believe, is just an upper level disturbance and band of strong winds aloft that is rotating through the area out ahead of that front, and has just triggered these storms to form. Pretty cool air aloft above these as well, which is why the threat for hail exists. But most of these are just tapping into the very, very hot air that we had over the area today. Topped out at 96 here in Memphis today, which was 1 degree from tying another record for the summer. But it's just tapping into all that leftover warm air and moisture. The dew points are creeping up into the mid and upper 60s. So it's enough to get some storms going when you pair it with those upper level winds. So that's what we're looking at right now.
We had a comment came in, said that someone living in Germantown had very strong winds coming through just a little bit ago. So I can imagine that those cells that move through the Germantown area are now pushing to the east. Yeah, it looks like they are, and headed towards Collierville. So it looks like if you're in the Collierville area, beware, you could have some pretty gusty winds as this cell moves in from the west. Just north of 385 and south of what is that runs from Bartlett to Eads?
70, Highway 70?
64.
64. Oh, yeah, out to Eads, 64, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah,
right.
In that area between 64 and 385.
Yep.
And west of Cordova, some lightning, gusty winds, and some heavy rain moving your way. Nothing severe for that area. And severe warning expected to expire here in the next minute or so, just to the north. Let's see, that does cover Millington, but that's expected to expire. Oh, we got another special weather statement for the Collierville area for that cell I was just talking about.
Yeah, just saw that. That should be popping up here anytime.
Yeah.
And that the radar is showing down in the north side of east side of Germantown, out into the north side of Collierville, potential for 45 mile an hour winds or so in that right behind that outflow boundary and just ahead as the storms are moving into, say, Dogwood Grove. the Halley Park, Frank Road Park, portions of Collierville. So that white box is going to show up here any minute, and that is going to tell us that we've got that special weather statement out, which is, again, not severe, but as we just got from that comment that came in, really gusty winds as it moved through Germantown, and that is moving into Collierville now. So even though the rain is not there, yeah.
And it's so this special weather statement does say it's moving southeast at 25 miles per hour with wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. It's going to affect Collierville, Germantown, Olive Branch, Piperton, Rossville, Tasca, Kais, Kirk, Elba, and Fisherville.
And there is that box, and I'm going to go ahead and tweet that one out too.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to switch over and give you a wider view to see what's going on. Zoom out just a hair or two here. So you can see that there are storms in northern Mississippi. Those are mainly along and east of 55 now as you get towards Panola County. Further south, that is along and west of 55. But as far as the MemphisWeather.net area is concerned, it looks like Tate County, those cells are now to the east of 55, moving into the Harmontown area, and just zoom in a little bit more. So basically between 55 and 305, so nothing severe there. Some much needed rain for the area, and we are seeing some lightning with that. But the main cells that we're watching are the cells in eastern Shelby County as well as northern Shelby County up along 55 into Tipton County up to Covington. There are some additional storms up around the Blytheville area, Missouri Boot Hill area, but these storms aren't going to make it to the metro area. Basically just watching these cells. And I just noticed, let me switch screens here. So we do have another cell basically over the southeast section of the 240 loop, and that is moving along and just south of Poplar and just north of 240. Nothing severe with that storm, and in fact, no severe warnings for the entire Mid-South at the moment, unless you get up into the Missouri Boot Hill, northeast Arkansas area. But we do have a special weather statement as these cells appear to be moving into the Collierville area, Ridgeway Country Club, some lightning strikes around Spring Creek and Briarcrest. Those areas mainly now just east of Germantown. Again, moving to the Collierville area, north of 385, and expect wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour, and moving to the southeast at about 25 miles per hour. Lightning, heavy rain, gusty winds, but nothing severe for the metro at the moment. And we're going to look at, and again, if you have comments, questions, be sure to post them here on YouTube. We can get those and overlay those as they come in, and we can answer your questions. So don't be afraid to post your comments and questions here on YouTube, and we'll answer them as they come in.
Nothing new for our area from the Weather Service here since those two junior severe thunderstorm warnings. The severe special weather statements came out for southeastern Shelby, southwestern Fayette County, and the larger one that covers most of eastern Tipton County and into northeast Shelby. That also covers the northern portions of Fayette County, mainly west of Highway 76 and north of Highway 64, so kind of the northwestern quadrant there of Fayette County. We'll zoom in and take another quick look at what's going on in those particular storms. So those storms are now moving into Covington, just about over the Covington Airport, and the city of Covington is pretty much covered up by heavy rain right now, and that extends south to just east of Brighton and east of Atoka. So Brighton and Atoka, you're now on the backside of that, and looks like things should be calming down for you there significantly. But the storms are over Rosemark, extending down to the north side of Bartlett through the Bolton area, and now up to Highway 70. So those folks from Lakeland up to Arlington, Galloway, Braden, Mason, right along Highway 70 there, these storms are moving into your area. It looks like the stronger winds from this are going to be kind of right along the Shelby-Fayette line, up near Galloway. Those winds, we're looking up about 600, 700 feet on the radar, but they're showing 45 miles an hour or so up there. So pretty good gusts coming into that area, and that is covered by the special weather statement. And then pretty strong winds up around the east side of Covington as well. 45 to 50 mile an hour winds right about over the Covington airport. They're showing calm winds right now. So
we had a report of a comment come in around the Rosemark area, Tipton, Shelby County border of some crazy wind and lightning. So appreciate that comment.
43 mile per hour wind gust measured at Covington just 1 minute ago, and 56 miles an hour was measured at Blytheville just a few minutes ago as well. Now that's up farther to the north where these storms extend up well to our north, but here in our area, 43 at Covington. And that storm down there in Collierville looks to be at least very heavy rain at most, and some pretty gusty winds coming in there as well. Let's take a look at the hail.
Looking at the satellite product now, and things are quickly moving off to the east. I don't see anything actually behind any of these storms at the moment. So this is getting a lot of energy out of the atmosphere, and not expecting anything behind it that's severe.
That's certainly good news. We'll get this pushed through and then have a quiet period. It's the models are indicating we might see a few more showers around sunrise tomorrow into the early Sunday morning hours as that front gets a little bit closer. But really back to our west, as you can see, if I've zoomed this radar out, there's a giant hole back to our west of basically no precipitation. So this should be moving out of the metro here in fairly short order. And I'm going to get this information on those wind gusts out for everybody that's following on Twitter here.
We'll take a wider view here. Take a look at the loop over the past hour or so. You can see these storms developing basically over eastern Arkansas, pushing across the river, and now pushing through Shelby and Tipton County and into Fayette and Haywood County. These storms moving through pretty quickly. There are no severe warnings. No severe warnings on any of these storms now. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning earlier. That has since expired. That expired actually at 9:15. And we are watching the cell that is over basically the Collierville area. There is a special weather statement for that particular cell. Let me switch screens here. And you can see this white box around the Collierville area. There is a special weather statement for that. Basically, like Eric said, it's a junior thunderstorm warning and a sub-severe alert, basically, that says there could be some hazardous weather in this, but it's below severe criteria. Weather Service thinking that Collierville, Rossville area, as well as far northwestern Marshall County, is going to have some cells move through it, moving southeast at 25 miles an hour with wind gust up to 50 miles per hour. Along with that, we'll see some heavy rain and some lightning as well. So these cells, again, moving to the southeast at about 25 miles an hour. And another cell that formed in the southeastern portion of the 240 loop, now moving into Germantown, some heavy rain associated with that. I don't see any lightning yet, but that cannot be ruled out. So Germantown, you may get another round of heavy rain and lightning here in the next little bit. Looking like on the composite reflectivity, which is just the highest reflectivity values within the storm cell itself, looks like some pretty heavy rain in that area, and that is going to be further up in the atmosphere. So that indicates that the storm may be increasing a little bit. And Anne, we appreciate your comment. She says thanks for this coverage. And got another comment. Thanks for the coverage. And Carrie, thanks for coverage. So kudos there for us, not trying to pat ourselves on the back, but we appreciate your comments, whatever they may be. And and your questions. So if you've got questions, comments, leave them there on the YouTube comments, and we'll gladly take your compliments and answer your questions.
Yeah, great to have everybody that's joining and watching along with us tonight. We tried this one other time. We did okay, but we forgot to make it a public video. We wondered why we weren't getting any comments, and then we figured out afterwards what we had done. So this is pretty new to us, but something that we are going to be doing a little more often as we're able. We both have full-time jobs as well, and families and all that sort of thing. But certainly when there's severe weather, we will do our best to get some live information out for you besides just on the Twitter and on the Facebag. So we'd love to have you following along and letting other people know as well. And if shameless plug, I guess, and just letting you know that we also have a Patreon page now. And so if you appreciate what we're doing and want to see it continue, we do have there's some expense that goes into doing this, and Patreon allows you to put a little bit in our tip jar, and we really appreciate that as well. So if you're so inclined, you can find us on Patreon and make a little donation there. But thanks so much for being with us tonight. So back to what we've got going on here, and I do have the loop running through on here, so we can see as these storms, they are moving fairly quickly off to the east, they're going to be moving out of Tipton County here probably in the next 15 or 20 minutes. Shelby County maybe just a little bit longer than that. Most of Shelby County is clear for right now, but the eastern suburbs are certainly not. Fayette County, it's just starting for you, and we'll be moving through over the next hour. So I'm going to pause that right there. You can get the bigger picture. We do have a few other storms that are popping up down around Holly Springs, southeastern Tate County as well. Those are well below severe limits. And not a whole lot going on besides rain there.
Yeah, it looks like they've passed Red Banks now. They're along Highway 78, moving into Holly Springs. Maybe some heavy rain and lightning, but I don't see, maybe some gusty winds, but not too terrible. But if you're in Holly Springs, be aware that you could see some lightning, heavy rain, and gusty winds, but not even a severe weather statement with that. So that's good indication that it may just breeze on through there and not really be much of a factor.
So I think I want to zoom in just a little bit here in this Collierville area because the hail indications are ramping up just a little bit. And this is going to be along 385 north of Collierville, along that part of 385 that goes back and forth between Shelby and Fayette County as you're driving down it at 60 miles an hour and see a sign every mile that says you're in a different county. This is basically right along the county line. Out northeast of Collierville, north of Piperton, but there's a pretty good little hail signature right in there. So again, I wouldn't be surprised to see dime size up to potentially quarter size hail, maybe dime to nickel size hail out in that area. I don't think there's a lot of residential areas out in there, but there are some folks that are certainly out there and maybe driving through that area. Another hail indication that is fairly similar to that, right around Lakeland. This is just north of Stonebridge, so this is I-40 and then Highway 70. So we're looking at basically right there, just east of Wolf Chase, going through the Lakeland area and southeast of Brunswick. So folks in Lakeland might be seeing a little bit of hail, and I'm guessing some gusty winds and certainly some very heavy rain in there. Those are the two areas that I see right now that could potentially be dropping a little bit of hail. And let me take a quick look at the wind on this as well. The wind does not look nearly as impressive in the Lakeland area as some other areas have gotten. But some pretty good gusts from Collierville through Piperton, and that outflow boundary now is moving into the Rossville area and diving down into northern Marshall County as well. So you will get a fresh breeze as that comes through, and that is the indicator that rain is not too far behind as well.
Luckily, everything remaining below severe criteria, and severe criteria meaning 60 mile an hour wind gusts or more, as well as 1 inch or 1 inch hail. And luckily, everything is below this criteria, so we're seeing possibly 50 mile an hour gusts. We haven't had much confirmed near that. We do have a 43 mile per hour gust reported earlier. And it looks like we got a report from Mississippi County, Arkansas, some trees and power lines down up there, but that's well away from the metro. So luckily, everything below severe criteria. It looks like this is actually starting to form into a line all the way from Ripley, Tennessee, down through Arlington and into the Collierville area. Pretty solid line starting to form. Yeah, even up towards Dyersburg. So that's luckily pushing through pretty quick. Looks like Fayette County will get some of that, but it looks like for Shelby County and DeSoto County, as well as eastern Arkansas, is out of the realm for any potential severe weather for the rest of the evening. Again, we did note that there is some potential for additional showers, maybe some thunderstorms to move through early morning hours, pre-dawn hours, but we're not expecting those to be severe. Maybe just some showers and a few lightning strikes possible, but this is the main event that would come through, and it was severe earlier, and it has since died down a little bit and starting to congeal into a line and pushing east. So this is definitely good news that things are moving through pretty quickly. Unfortunately, moving towards the Arlington and Somerville area. So if you're in those areas, be aware for heavy rain, gusty winds, and dangerous lightning.
Yeah, shout out to my friends in the Bartlett Band program up there in Arlington. They said they got everybody packed up and on the buses, and then the bottom fell out. So fortunately, the timing was just right. That is moving right over Arlington and into Lakeland. Pretty heavy cell there over Lakeland right now. But that is going to be moving out of Shelby County, as Richard said here, probably in the next 20 minutes or so. That kind of trailer cell that's moving through Germantown now is not as strong as the others that came through, and it'll pass through there pretty quickly. So Collierville, once this cell that's passing over you now into Piperton and Southwest Fayette County moves off to your east, you'll have one more shower that comes through there, and then that should be about it for you as well. I've heard plenty of thunder here, but the rain gauge has not reported anything. I was really hoping we could get a little bit of rain here before we head into another week of at least week or more of dry weather, but we'll take what is coming with this cold front as that moves through tomorrow. Just put out a new forecast a couple of hours ago, and we've got some temperatures in the 70s for highs for a good part of next week. We're really going to enjoy the dew points just bottoming out into the 30s and 40s, and it's going to be very pleasant. I would not be surprised to see a couple of mornings where some of you in the outlying areas might see like a 49 for a low temperature sometime next week. It's going to be 50s for just about everybody. So definitely looking forward to what's coming behind this. But in the meantime, we have some fairly potent storms that are moving through. If you've just joined us here recently, we have been covering these storms as they move through from when the severe thunderstorm warning was issued for western Tipton County and northwestern Shelby County. And those storms now pushing off to the east, exiting the main parts of the metro, but our friends over in Fayette County still have a little ways to go yet. So these storms will be bringing some very heavy rain, possibility for some minor ponding in some areas. It won't last very long, but it will be pretty heavy. Maybe some small hail, and we've seen quite a few wind gusts that have been at least in the 30 to 40 mile an hour range, and a few stray gusts that have gotten up close to 50 as well. But radar right now is looking like a lot of those winds are starting to die off a little bit. Maximum I'm seeing really is probably in about the 35 mile an hour range, so not quite as strong as they were before. We'll take a quick look at the hail here as well. Still looks like the strongest hail signature is actually between these special weather statements sitting over Lakeland. So maybe some very small hail out in the Lakeland area still as well.
It looks like a lot of this continues to push off to the east pretty rapidly, and that's definitely a good thing. No severe warnings in effect right now. We do have those special weather statements. You can see this line starting, these cells starting to congeal into a line as they push off to the east, basically on the far eastern edge of Shelby County now, moving into the Collierville area, and we'll stop it here at the last frame. Yeah, like Eric said, over the Lakeland area as well as over Collierville, some heavy rain, gusty winds, and lightning associated with these cells, but starting to congeal actually into a line all the way from Dyersburg down through Ripley and Mason down to Collierville, and even Holly Springs getting in on the action. And further south, there's just some widespread rain and maybe some embedded thunderstorms further south of the metro. But pretty much all the action right now is definitely east of the Shelby County area, with the exception of the Lakeland and Germantown area. But as far as the 240 loop is concerned, if you're 240 loop or west of that, everything has pretty much died down. Not expecting anything. Eric mentioned he didn't get much rain, if any, and I didn't get much rain, if any, here in DeSoto County. So was kind of keeping my fingers crossed for a little bit of rain, and I'm sure that everyone out there that didn't get rain is also kind of kicking the dirt and wishing that they'd have got rain too. But I am right there with you because I didn't get any rain either. But the folks in Collierville right now getting some pretty heavy rain. Lakeland, those folks are getting some rain as well. But everything 240 and basically the I-55 corridor, 240 area, and west of that, you're in the clear. Again, no severe warnings in effect right now. We do have some special weather statements in effect for portions of the area, and you can see those in the white boxes here. Rossville area, Collierville still included, as well as Arlington. That is now east of Arlington, Lakeland and Eads area getting some heavy rain, lightning, possibly some gusty winds with that. And all this activity, again, moving into Fayette County, moving out of Shelby County. Got another cell popped up just north of the airport, and that is moving to the east. So not expecting any of these trailing storms, any of these trailing cells to actually be severe, but we can continue to watch these move through and possibly provide those that haven't gotten any rain some additional rain. We got a report saying that, let's see, we're driving south on Collierville, Arlington Road, raining sideways with a lot of wind. So that is definitely what we were seeing earlier. We had some reports of 43 mile per hour gusts with some of these, some of the precip that moved through the area, and this definitely would blow the rain sideways if you were lucky enough to be in it. Now seeing one cell, like I was saying, just north and along of the airport, and that's not seeing any lightning with that at the moment, but we are seeing continued rain along the eastern edge of Shelby County, moving into Fayette County. So moving out of the Lakeland area over Eads right now, and some light to moderate rain moving into the Collierville area. Not seeing any additional lightning with that. Let's see, southeast of Cordova, there could be some lightning and heavy rain with that cell that's moving through the area. But all this activity is moving into Fayette County now. And Holly Springs, let's take a look at that real quick. So the Holly Springs area getting some moderate to heavy rain across most of the town, and some lightning mainly located to the northeast of Holly Springs. So that looks to be just about out of the Holly Springs area. Let me back out just a tad here. Yeah, pretty much developed over or just west of Holly Springs. Yeah, you can see it there, and it's pushing east of Holly Springs now, and continues to push into the Benton County areas here in the next little bit. So if you're in the Holly Springs area, Waterford area, those cells are moving off to the east. If you're, let's see, along Highway 78, basically if you're Red Banks up to Byhalia, you're pretty much in the clear. If you're Holly Springs down to Potts Camp, just be aware that there's some heavy rain, lightning, and gusty winds possible with that. But we are watching these cells in Shelby County now below severe limits, thankfully.
Not seeing anything new from the Weather Service recently on these, so that is excellent news, of course. And for some reason, Twitter is misbehaving and not allowing me to post my animated radar that I would usually put on there, so I just had to put out text. So I don't know what's going on with that, but technology these days. Love it and hate it.
Yeah. Switching back over to your radar here.
Yeah, it looks like the strongest storm that's closest to large population center is out near Eads right now. Again, kind of between these special weather statements, but basically just consider that this entire line is something that you should pay attention to as it moves through. And there's some very heavy rain and probably some small hail in there. It's showing probably about an 80% probability that there's some hail in that cell, and maybe up to 3/4 of an inch. So that's basically right over Eads right now, along Highway 64, where it crosses 385. For those of you out in eastern Shelby County, you know exactly where that's at. Down to the south, we've got a pretty heavy storm now that's extending out along 57, going into the Rossville area, and that is headed towards Moscow. So very heavy rain and definitely a lot of lightning being produced out in that area as well. Collierville's just got a little bit of rain left, but looks like they're about out of the storms now. And then that extends up to our north, right along State Route 59 as it comes east-west between Braden down towards the Somerville area. Pretty heavy rain through there, and then extends east up towards Stanton and Brownsville, and just outside of our coverage area. So we technically really only cover to the eastern boundary of Tipton County and then all of Fayette County on the east side. But those storms do extend up to the north, up towards Brownsville. They're about to get hit pretty good, and Ripley, and even up north to Dyersburg. So, like Richard said, we've got a pretty good long line that has formed of these broken cells through there.
And as far as Somerville goes, over in Tipton County, Fayette County rather, we do have indications that will move through about in the next 10 minutes or so, and then the back edge of that cell should be through by about 10:15, 10:30. So if you're in the Somerville area, be expected to see some heavy rain, lightning, and gusty winds through about 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, and I would think that Shelby County here is probably certainly by 10 o'clock we're going to have everything that anybody in Shelby County needs to worry about is going to be gone by that, and for probably 95% of Shelby County now, those storms have moved out of your area. So
looks like
good
there's
sign there.
Looks like there's a cell that just popped up southeast of Bartlett. Not really seeing too much in the way of anything to be concerned about, but it looks like it may have just missed your rain gauge.
Yep, it missed me, and that's just the way it's going to be, I think. So I'll have to, if I want any water on the yard, I guess I'll have to get the sprinkler out. But this time of year, the cooler weather coming, the Bermuda is not going to be doing much with lows in the 50s anymore. So thankfully, we're getting towards the end of mowing season, but the last time I had the mower out this week, it was there was a lot of dust blowing around again. After we got out of the drought that we had this summer and finally recovered from that in August, we're back to pretty dry conditions. And this really looks like, and maybe whatever we get early tomorrow morning that's associated with this front is really the best chance we've got for quite some time once again. So
looking at the models, we do see that this moving through pretty quick, and still see some indication that there may be some scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms towards sunrise, but nothing severe. This is, if you're wondering, this is pretty much going to be it for the remainder of the evening. So whatever is moving through is pretty much it. So really not a whole lot to be concerned about. This will continue to push east and into Fayette County. So Shelby County, Crittenden County, DeSoto, Tunica, and Tate counties, you are in the clear for the evening. Almost eastern Shelby County, almost out of eastern Shelby County, I should say, and primarily into Fayette County now. So really not a whole lot to be concerned with. We will keep watching it, though. If we come back, we probably won't. What would you think, Eric? I don't think we'll need to have any additional coverage tonight.
No, this is going to be our main event tonight, I think. So this is going to be moving east and into the Fayette County area. There's no signs that any of this is going to get any stronger. In fact, these are starting to exit out of the special weather statement areas for the most part. The only new one here is kind of the northern edge of this far northeastern Fayette County, up towards Whiteville and northeast of Somerville is under a new one. But I don't expect to see any severe weather out of this. Thunder and lightning and some heavy rain. What do we say? maybe for those that are still watching, I know there's a lot of interest in the tropics. Shall we just wrap this up with a quick look at Ian and maybe the track of that and how that might affect folks that have friends and family in Florida?
Sure. If you want to, I'll let you bring that up.
I will have to stop my screen share, I think, and restart it.
That is fine.
Okay.
So if you're enjoying our coverage, we do appreciate it, and if you're so inclined, we would appreciate support through our Patreon page, patreon.com/MemphisWeather1. You can see it there at the bottom of your screen. We would appreciate any and all donations if you're so inclined. If not, we completely understand, but it is out there, so we will let you know about it. No watches and warnings in effect. Not expecting any additional watches or warnings for the Mid-South for the remainder of tonight. And I'll let you take over and talk a little bit about Ian.
All right, well, we'll wrap up this evening then with a quick look at what's going on. There's actually quite a bit going on in the tropics here just in the last week or so, but all eyes right now are on what is currently Tropical Storm Ian, but it has started to get organized down in the Caribbean, south of Jamaica. As of 8 o'clock this evening, it's well south of Jamaica, and you can see the path of this storm as it is getting ready to start to take a northwestward turn tomorrow. And over the last couple of days, this track has shifted west. 24 hours ago or so, it was projected that this storm may make landfall in Florida, maybe from Tampa or someplace south of there. And it has continued to shift west and now looks to be moving through the eastern Gulf of Mexico up into Florida. For the next couple of days, really no significant impacts for the United States that we really need to be worried about. However, folks down in Florida, if you are headed that direction, maybe late next week, you certainly want to definitely keep an eye on this. If you've got friends and family down there, this is not one that they want to certainly overlook because the path is still... there's still quite a bit of uncertainty between where exactly this storm is going to make landfall, what areas it's going to affect. But as we get into Monday, we're going to be Sunday into Monday, we're going to see some very rapid strengthening of this storm, just nearly ideal conditions down in the Caribbean Sea for this to rapidly develop. So tomorrow afternoon, still a tropical storm, but as we go into Monday afternoon and then into Monday night, it's expected to be a Cat 3 to Cat 4 hurricane moving through just off the western tip of Cuba and moving up into the Gulf of Mexico. The forecast from the Hurricane Center does have it as a Category 4 storm in the eastern Gulf of Mexico Tuesday into Wednesday. It does look like as it gets farther north, and we don't know exactly where along the shoreline from basically anywhere along the Florida coastline from say Fort Myers north through Tampa and all the way over almost to the Alabama border could make landfall. But it does look like as it gets closer there, it is going to run into a giant trough and a pretty strong jet stream. That's what's is going to dip to our south over the next day or so and bring us that nice fall air. But it is going to looks like it's going to significantly weaken the storm as it starts to move farther north towards the coast. But that does not mean that those folks down there need to let their guard down. Still a hurricane, and it's probably going to be a very large storm as well because it will have plenty of time as a major storm to get its act together. So even if the maximum winds start coming down as it gets towards the shoreline, I would expect storm surge is still going to be significant. I expect high winds to be widespread. If you've got acquaintances down in especially central and northern Florida into southern Georgia, southern Alabama, I wouldn't be surprised if this track continues to shift a little bit farther to the west, maybe getting towards the Big Bend area. Who knows? But the models are still fairly widespread once it gets north of Cuba. So there's a fairly large cone of uncertainty here, it will definitely be all over the news in the coming week to have a Category 4 storm in the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to be quite the event. So we're hopeful that does weaken some before it gets into areas where there are population centers. But hurricane precautions should be started. You've got plenty of time down in that area. It's only Saturday. The storm may not affect those areas until Wednesday or Thursday, so there's really no excuse for not being ready for this storm to be moving in. As far as our area, it does look like the forecast models take this well off to our east. In the Thursday, probably Friday, Saturday time frame, we're going to have pretty strong high pressure at the surface and kind of a trough of low pressure aloft over the eastern U.S., and that is what's going to steer the storm off to the right as it comes closer to the United States coastline. But that is not expected to bring us any rain. We probably won't see any wind from it or anything, but we're definitely going to keep an eye on this. And if you've got questions about folks that you know down there, looking for information, we'll certainly help to answer those questions if we can. We focus on the Memphis area, but if we're able, we'll provide guidance for some of those other areas as well. So that's what the tropics look like. And I think with that, we appreciate everybody that has joined us tonight. Thank you so much. All the comments have been very helpful. Some of you have provided some feedback, and we will definitely take that into account as well going forward. We're glad to be able to provide this for you. Thanks for joining. We'll continue to keep updates on Twitter and Facebook here for a little bit longer this evening. And as Richard said, if you would like to join us and continue to support us in these types of opportunities, we invite you to go to our Patreon page and check that out as well. It gives us a little bit of background on our story and where we've come and where we're headed. And also, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure that you have clicked the notification bell on our channel so that when we do go live, you will get the notification that we're here for you. So again, we'll close out with that. The severe weather is over. Strong storms moving into Fayette County here as we close out for this evening. We thank everybody for joining us, and we'll see you again the next time we have something to bring you.